I'm Maurice Templeton. About 35 years ago, I met Philip Brower. I met him at Dr. D. James Kennedy's office in Coral Ridge, Florida. I had chartered a ship for him to do a Christian cruise, and he told me he wanted Philip Brower to do the programming. So we met in his office and we went over the program, and from that we did several cruises. And Phil did such a great job. I had another event at the Quartet Convention in Louisville, Kentucky. It was the Singing News Fan Awards. And I asked Phil if he would help me put that together. And he agreed, and he came, and for years and years, and until the last Quartet Convention, he put every Singing News Fan Award program together. He did such a great job. When I met him, I knew I had met a gentle giant, and I had met an unusual person who had talent, and everything he did was geared towards the Lord's work. And I thought that was not a coincidence, but it was unusual that I was just in Christian program travel. And I did tours to Israel and other places, and everything Philip did, it seemed like he was in the Christian work. So he and I became great friends. Then he took over the programming of the Quartet Convention, and he did it through last year. And we had a great rapport together. Lynn even came and helped me put together a banquet for all the singers. And I want you to know, Lynn, he was probably one of the best friends that I had. And he was a Christian. He lived it, his testimony. He didn't have to say anything. You just knew he was a strong Christian. And to you and the girls, you have our deepest sympathy, and you have our love. God bless you.
Phil Brower was dedicated first to the cause of Jesus Christ, then his love for gospel music. He served as our producer for the National Quartet Convention for almost 3 decades. His wisdom and ability was valued. For the last 20 years, he was our producer for our Great West Fan Festival in California. Phil will be missed not only by the industry, but by every gospel music fan. I'll certainly miss him because he was my personal friend.
I was just sitting here reading through some of the texts I've received from Phil and Lynn over the past several months. Phil would either text or call me every week just to check up, see how I was doing, and to let me know he was praying for me. And there aren't many people in the world like that. As a matter of fact, going through my text this morning, he's the only person on this list that would either text or call me every week without fail. So if there's one thing I could say about Phil today, it would be that he was a very consistent person, always trying to encourage and to be a blessing, and always striving for excellence and perfection, really, in everything that he tried to do. And so I was just scrolling through these this morning and ran across this text that he sent January the 19th. And he just reminded me that he's praying for me, as he always did. And then toward the end, he said, our lives must be firmly anchored in these 3 things. 1, God is fully in control. 2, he has your best interest at heart. And 3, God is good, and he is incapable of doing anything but good. So lift up your head. There's going to be a better day. And so, Lynn, I would say to you and the family that those three things certainly do apply in your lives today. And you can lift up your head knowing there's going to be a better day, and that the Lord himself is walking with you through these days. And it makes me smile to think that the man that I know, who always pursued excellence and perfection, is right now at this very moment in the literal presence of perfection, the Lord himself. God bless you all. Sure do love you.
Lynn, I don't have to tell you, you had a very special husband. And to the kids, you had a great dad. You know, people behind the scenes in this whole music field do not get nearly enough credit for what they do. For us who are on the camera or write the songs, sing the songs, and perform up front, we get a lot of the attention. But none of that could happen without somebody with the skills and for the love of the art, putting all of that together and making it work. Phil loved the music, and he loved the message of the song, and did his work and took a lot of pride when it all worked well. When I first met him, it was at the praise gathering, and he would in the sound checks and everything, he would have a thing in mind. And at the end of the night, when we were in a pretty good, we couldn't always control all the artists, but he took a lot of pride in saying we stayed within the schedule. He did the same thing on the Homecoming radio show to make sure that it all worked. And I pride myself in making sure credits are there. Whoever wrote the song, whoever performed the song, but more than that, whoever produced the song and made sure it happened. And Phil was the best in doing that. And to the family, you should be very proud of that. And secondly, to the family, I want to say, you can be sure of this. Your dad loved your mother. And you know how rare that is these days? I've seen a lot of marriages in my lifetime. And when I looked at the two of them, I said, I think those are two people who truly love each other. Lynn, you know this. You and Gloria and I have talked many times. You're blessed. I am blessed at that point. It's a wonderful fraternity to be in. So I find myself at this point feeling very, very grateful. That's a good circle of folks. I will miss him. I will miss the phone calls and hearing his voice on the other end. William! He had nicknames for all of us. He never called me Bill. William, he called Kevin Kevy, and Gordy. And he would give us the latest report of what was going on. I will miss his phone messages and those corny limericks he'd make up. Well, spring is past, summer is here, winter is coming. I'll miss those. And I will miss Christmas Day when he would quote Luke 2 totally by heart about the baby being born. And I'll miss Easter Sunday morning when he would say, He is risen. He is risen indeed. We have indeed been blessed to know Phil and Lynn and kids. Gloria and I send her love. Wish we could be there to hug you, but when this whole thing is over, maybe we'll get that chance. God bless you.